All right, let's talk about the substance of the debate. Now, people are fed up with President Obama's tired old policies that aren't working. Do you think, in your opinion, do any of the candidates offer any policies different than President Obama's last 7 years, or are they just offering more of the same?
Well, I disagree with your premise. CBS News released a survey today, and they asked this question: do you favor or oppose raising taxes on wealthy Americans and corporations in order to reduce income inequality? 63% of the voters said they favored that, and only 31% disagreed. So I think the policies the Democratic candidates are talking to give the middle class a break are very popular.
Well, sure. When you phrase a question like that, it's automatically biased, though. When you say, would you rather raise taxes in order to diminish income equality, that's not what happens when you raise taxes, though. When you raise taxes on the top level, soon they're not the top level anymore. They either run out of money, move somewhere else, and you move to the next level. So the premise of that question itself is biased and isn't really representative, I think, of whether people would rather have their taxes raised or even whether they support the top 1% or the top tier having their taxes raised as well. No, Go ahead.
Americans also don't like the fact that middle class earnings up with inflation. And that's why there's so much support for the Sanders and Clinton and O'Malley tax proposals.
Well, I took some notes during the debate. It actually reminded me of college, trying to stay awake while by taking notes. And here are some of the things that I thought accurately represent the Democratic platform. The first is Democrats don't think America should lead the world. They don't think ISIS is America's fight. They think America should welcome Syrian refugees without any vetting. They think we should tax the rich, as we were just talking about. They think Medicare should be allowed to negotiate directly with drug companies. They think college should be free. They think the consequences of minimum wage, which is job loss, is inconsequential. They think that guns kill people, and they think Republicans are evil. Are people going to buy this stuff anymore, or are they tired of those talking points?
Oh, I think they're going to buy it. Again, I go back to that CBS News poll. Americans are very concerned about income inequality. Americans don't want American troops on the ground fighting in ISIS. And what all three Democratic candidates said, the United States should lead in putting together a coalition to fight ISIS. They also said that we can't help people who can't help themselves. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, they have to step up to the plate. If they don't, we can't do anything to improve the situation.
Sure, but let's get back to the taxes for a second. How does taxing the rich diminish income equality? How does that, in the long run, more than just the first year that it happens and it takes down the level of income from the richest, how does that actually target the causes of income inequality?
Well, if you raise taxes on the rich, you can increase spending for programs that Americans depend on: education, Medicaid. Those are all programs that are very popular. And if you have more money, you can spend more, and people have more in their pockets.
That's just redistribution of wealth, though. That's just taking money from the rich to give to the poor. That's not equipping the poor to better help themselves, to have jobs that will lead to a higher income. That's not increasing opportunity. That's just stealing from Peter to give to Paul. How is that morally acceptable in a country like ours that's based off of capitalism and freedom?
Well, I disagree with you. If we've been cutting back spending on education, and in order to survive in an international competitive economic situation, we have to improve our education system. And we can't do that by cutting back on spending for education.
We've been cutting back on spending in education because studies have shown that throwing money at the problem isn't helping. It's not money that is the problem. It's the system itself. It's the bureaucracy itself. It's not a problem that can be solved by dollars and cents. It's a problem that needs to be addressed structurally, from how we set up, how we're teaching students, how teachers are compensated, whether they're held accountable for their actions, not just based off of a money thing. So I'm not sure that education is a good argument for taxing the rich.
Well, again, I disagree. If you look at the budgets, for instance, just about every state has cut back funding in the last few years for its public college and education system. If public colleges don't have the money, they can't admit the middle-class students who need education the most. And that's what's been happening. People, middle class, the kids of the middle class Americans are getting squeezed out of college because they can't afford the tuition, and states are cutting back on the amount of money they spend on state colleges and universities. And that's not the way we're going to compete in a competitive international marketplace.
Now, Brad, we're out of time, so very quickly, who, in your opinion, won the Democratic debate on Saturday?
Well, I thought Hillary Clinton did. I think she made one bad mistake when she when she defended her record on contributions by referring to 9/11. But the network polls, the telephone polls of voters that were doing afterwards, showed that Hillary Clinton was a decisive winner.
All right, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you for your insight, and I hope you'll join us again.